Okay, so what I will talk about and what I will not talk about are these. It's probably different definition for creative research, but the way I think would be best to describe it is on the negative side, to say what it is not, and I think it is not a routine way of research. So any way of looking in a new way, developing a new method, looking at a new material, or looking at the material from different aspects, I think would constitute a creative research. What I'm not here to talk about, I'm not going to tell you that the graphene is the best material to do research about. Anything that you work on could be very interesting to work on. So that's definitely not the purpose of the talk. And why creative research is important for you? Well, again, there are many reasons for it. I just want to mention two, at least to me. That creative research makes research very enjoyable. So if you are going to be in this business, you better think about it and think about how to make it creative to make your life more enjoyable. The other thing that's it's kind of a threat, and if the first reason doesn't convince you, the second one should, is that when we look at that, when we look around, we see that there are robots, there is AI, and there are many different tools and means that are going to do the routine stuff, even in the most sophisticated ways, like in medical issues, in even legal procedures, stuff like that. So this should really make us aware that we need to do and to learn how to do things out of the routine. So these two should really make you interested to think about how to do a creative research. And what I'm saying is the way that I looked at it and I found it to be creative. There must be many ways, and there must be good literature on it. Well, my suggested algorithm has 4 steps. The first one is obviously to find a good topic. It's really important the topic that you choose to start your research and continue on that, or if you want to change it to something else. And for that, my suggestion is start from yourself, explore yourself, look what you like, what you can, and all the things that is somehow related to you, because this is really something that you can make really great contributions there. The other thing is that explore the world, what's going on. And for that, you not only look at what's really important today, but also the things that are becoming more important. Why? Because now you're a student, but you're going to be a professor, you're going to be a researcher. So it's not only what's important today, but what's becoming important could be something that really affects your research life. Explore the world of science, the S-curve. Well, the S-curve is something that roughly gives you some idea. It's that when you explore different topics, you will find that at the beginning there is a small research, and then there is a rush on doing research on it, and then again it slows down. So there's a kind of S-curve on different topics when you look at it. You can look at the number of the papers that are published, patents, different measures that you can use for that. And it's really important to find out where the research is now, the one that you have chosen. Is it at the beginning? The things that are at the beginning, there is a risk that it may not really accelerate and keep up. So there is a risk there, but there is also a potential for growth. When you are at the high growth area, then you have a lot of competition, but it is sure that you are in the right area. Then again, at the end, you need to think about, well, it's been a sure thing that it's been an important issue, but it's going to be not that important anymore. Okay, so now I assume that you know what the areas that we want to do the research, or roughly the area that we want to work on. Second step is that start asking a lot of questions and start evaluating those questions and find out what are the valuable questions about this issue, the answer, and are the answer, and how are the answer. Because the way that they are answered could be very different, and you can contribute in all of these. Well, one thing which is very clear, and you almost definitely know that, is that you need to plan your research. There is no other way, because when you plan to get something, then we have a chance to find out, and we may fail, obviously. But the one thing that I want to add to that is that be ready to change your plan. You need, because planning is kind of make you stiff, and you say, okay, this is what I planned, and I need to go like this way, which is fun. Then you go and do something, and you don't get the answer. You need to be able to be flexible enough to change the plan, to see, okay, what is needed to change that, okay? For the plan, you need to study the relevant literature, but also non-relevant. Obviously, I don't mean totally non-relevant, but it's not always some things that you find in the relevant literature. Sometimes the things that are in the areas that much further from your research can help you. And you need to be open-minded enough that, for example, if there is something in the electrical engineering that you need to learn to be able to do your research in this area, to go and learn it and think about it. Well, design and test with clear expectations. This is something that's easy to say and done, because we normally like to say, okay, we do this, see what happens, and but this is something that gives you some sort of comfort, but doesn't give you much knowledge. So you need to be prepared to make clear expectation about the experiment that you want to perform. What we know is important, but what we don't know is also important. So when you start something, then you need to know, okay, these are the things that I know, and these are the things that I don't know, and they might affect the result that you want to do, and they also may help you when you want to do the analysis or when you want to make those sort of flexibility. So these are the things that I'm saying, is that you need to some sort of implement some sort of flexibility in your research to make sure that you can do a creative research. Well, one thing that's least told, but I'm sure that you like to hear about it, is that I think creative research needs some elements of imagination. So you need to think about, okay, what would happen if I do this and put these together to create something like that. So it's not all science. So it's a bit of imagination that you need to add to go for that creative research. The last but not the least is the deal with the frustration. Well, frustration is something that you really are going to deal with, and this is something that happens a lot. And one thing that happens is in the experiments. In experiments, you may get nothing. You read the paper, you go and do as it says, and nothing happens. You may get bad results. You may get results and it's not repeatable. So all sorts of things can happen. Okay. So it's really important to deal with the frustration properly. And this dealing with the frustration, well, you are happy, and I'm sure that you have a lot of experience. I'd be happy to share that. Okay. And these are the points that actually the science comes up and pops up. Because if everything happens the way we expected, it's that this is the science that we already have. So So be careful about those moments, because these are the moments that can help you to find the most exciting part of your research. So instead of getting frustrated, think about it. This is the opportunity that I want to find that and screw on that and go deeper on that. So that's that. Well, frustration again happens in analysis. You do one experiment, you expect something from the other experiment, they don't match. And in publication, obviously, all of you might have experienced that. Rejections, all sorts of different questions. And these questions are really valuable. They help you to look at what you did from different prospects. And these are all valuable. Think about them as something, as an opportunity to help you to improve your work. Okay, well, these are the stuff that I thought was very helpful for creating a research. I'm going to go to my story, and it probably started about 10 years ago, and it was about graphene, and we sort of felt graphene is amazing. It's probably the first two-dimensional material ever discovered, so it sort of opened up the research area for many different 2D nanoparticles. One atom thick of carbon atoms arranged in a hexagonal lattice. So these are the definitions that we know. And strongest, lightest, and most conductive material known to man. And these are very interesting material. Found in graphite, coal, and created in other fashions. It is still hard to manufacture pristine graphene in large quantities. So these small information gives you some idea that this is an area to be explored. And this is the first paper that we wrote. And here is what I want to tell you about my story. Well, my background mostly was in modeling. My Ph.D. was on three-dimensional modeling of a viscoelastic flow. So it was a numerical work. It was a lot of work on the polymers. Basically had nothing to do with graphene or nanoparticles. What I want to tell you is that what happened that took me this way and talk about that flexibility and what happened there. What happened was that I started looking at that S-curve, and looking at the viscoelastic modeling stuff, it was at the end of that S-curve. So it was very hard to publish anything there. So I started looking at modeling of different other materials and different phenomena, because modeling is sort of a tool, you can use it and you can apply it to different stuff. And around me, what was happening was that there was a rush in the country towards research on nanotechnology materials. So one of my students came to me and said, well, there's an interesting material in graphene, and I think it's nice to study that. Well, I have two questions. First of all, can we make it? That came out easily after 1 or 2 months of effort, so we could. The second question was that, okay, what does it have to do with me? I mean, I am a modeling guy. Why should I go for the graphene? What do I have to say about graphene? I was in the Department of Polymer Engineering, so our usual business is to mix polymers with other stuff and try to see what's going on and how it results in the enhancement of the properties. So that's what we did. And what we did try was that let's try and look at the polymers that can help graphene stabilize in the suspension. Why it's important? Because we thought we want to, at the end, we want to put it in the polymers. So if we use the polymers to suspend it, so it should probably help in making those composites. And for that, we started looking at two questions. That what kind of polymers and what about the molecular weight? And for that, we started looking at some modeling. We started from Amirkabir's equation. There was a paper by Yoto who had looked at when you would have two different layers of material and how they interact with each other based on Van der Waals equation. And we come up with an equation that shows this is the size of the spacing that we need to make sure that two graphene layers won't stick together. And that layer is does depend on the molecular weight of the powder. And then we started doing experiments, and we showed that, yeah, it is true. It should be a polymer that adheres to graphene. In our case, it was PDA, and its molecular weight does matter, and we showed you that. Then we started asking all the questions that we could ask ourselves. These are the questions. How to synthesize graphene? How do we know we have graphene? Because you see from the papers, okay, do this, do that, and then you get graphene. Okay, you do it, but how would you know that this is the graphene? Okay, and what is graphene in real world? Because what they define is just something on the paper. In the real world, you get different graphene, meaning you don't really see the layer that easily. You don't get the perfect structure. You get all sorts of oxygen groups on it. So the real world definition of the graphene is totally different from what we define it on the paper. Well, the next question which was our main business was how do we disperse it in polymer matrices? Well, we had some ideas about other particles. Well, nanocomposites was very well studied in the papers, how to disperse them. Well, melt mixing was quite popular. There was CNT, stuff like that. And then we needed to know, okay, when we disperse, how well we disperse the graphene in the polymer. This is important. We don't want to have it somewhere and not have it somewhere. It's not a problem. And then after we disperse it, what's the effect of graphene addition? Is it really better than CNT or not? And how does graphene and polymer interact? How do we study and characterize that interaction? And what are the barriers for graphene to make all the important contribution that it can have? Well, our approach was that we used Hammer's method. You probably know that, and I won't go through it. And there was also graphite oxide liquid phase of exfoliation that we went through. And the other question, as I mentioned before, the most important one was how to disperse it in a polymer matrix. When you're talking about production, you need to specify the product attributes. And we found out that size is important, size distribution, carbon to oxygen ratio, all the defects. And one important question there was that the product delivery, do we want to deliver it as a dispersion or as a powder? Because it used to be as a powder, and people worked with graphene nanoparticles as a powder. After doing some research, we started thinking again. As I said, the conventional method was working with nanopowders and trying to separate them and make the exfoliation and intercalation. But since the way that we produce graphene was producing through a dispersion, we said, okay, so instead of making a powder and then putting it back in the polymer, let's work with the dispersion and to see how we can put it together with the polymer in the dispersion phase. So the question was how we establish graphene suspension, that we addressed it. And one thing that was really interesting, and that was one of the major points that we faced, and that was interesting too, was that apart from graphene, graphene-oxide is stable in water, and why not working with GO? GO is amazing too. That was a very interesting point because everybody was kind of focused on graphene because of the conductivity stuff, but when we were working with the polymers, the purpose was that to make mechanical enhancement, so really conductivity was not that issue. And GO was much better stuff to work with other than graphene. So instead of reducing GO to graphene, let's work with GO, disperse it, functionalize it, and if necessary, reduce it to graphene. Okay? And from there, we started doing some of our research that I will tell you about, but before going there, let's look at the graphene-oxide. Graphene-oxide is basically the same as graphene. It has just some oxygen groups on it, different groups, and it's hydrophilic, at least that's what we thought at the beginning. It's because it doesn't have that much carbon and all the oxygen groups, it's not that much conductive anymore. And because of the bonding, it's easy to functionalize. Okay. This is the first work that we started doing by this concept in mind, that I want to produce polymer in dispersion state and then add it to graphene-oxide and put them together. That's what we did, and that's what we got. What we did was that we started with polymer-nanoparticle. We kind of used emulsion polymerization to produce that, and put that with GO dispersed in the water. Everything was going well at that point. The only problem was that when you wanted to make a film and to get rid of the water, everything falls apart. You don't have that film. So the frustration kicks in again. Like, okay, that was a brilliant idea to put the polymer and the graphene layers together in the upper state. But what do you want to do after that? And what happened was that everything fell apart. So we started thinking about it. We went back to that PVA stuff that we had, and we stabilized graphene-oxide by PVA, the work that we did before. And when we put them with the PMMA, what happened was that the PVA worked as a bridge. So the PMMA stuff started adhering to the GO using that PVA layer bridge. So it turned out that you can find the films like that, and the properties was good. Thinking about that bonding, we started thinking, okay, that was a kind of physical bonding. Why shouldn't we think about a chemical bond? And for that, we chose a system of epoxy with graphene-oxide and water. And what we did was that we had water and GO together and epoxy. So this is a two-phase system. And we added a diamine to it, so we started functionalizing GO there and mixed them together. So what happened was that functionalized GO went to the epoxy phase, and we decanted the water, and we had epoxy, and we got the properties from it. So we kind of improved the bonding between the polymer and the GO using the functional language. One thing that as we playing with GO, we found out was that GO is more hydrophilic than graphene, but it's not totally hydrophilic, it's actually amphiphilic. And that provided a great opportunity because it could work as a surface active agent. So we used it as a surface active agent, and we used the pickling emulsion. In this picture, what you see is that there is oil and water and GO, and these are the pictures that we have taken from the bubbles that we made. So it's really hard to see, but there is small bubbles that are wrapped in GO layers. So here we have again MMA, and we had water and GO, and we saw the tronication. And what happened was that then we had different concentration of GO, we got different products. Then you had quite a bit of GO, more than 4%. GO wrapped all of the PMMA particles there, or droplets. And then it was less than 4%. We started collecting all the PMMA that it had, and it started creating all sorts of structure. These are the pictures, and these are the graphical representation. So from here, it kind of felt that at the beginning we were trying to see, okay, what graphene does in the material. Now we were thinking what we can do with graphene in the polymer. So we kind of lean toward designing some of the structure that we want to have. Then we worked with PU, and what we did was that we had chelated in water, we had GO dispersion, we add them together, add hydrogen to reduce it to the graphene. And what happened there, and what we started to learn there, well, this is something that you want to look at, and then I go to the reason that we got. Look at the first two. WPU is waterborne PU. You see the tensile modulus, and then 3% of graphene was added using solution procedure. And take a look at here and here. So WPU that we used was even less strong than the one that we used there. And the strength that we got was much, much higher. And the reason was that, as we found out, and I can show you in the next slide, was that when we had high concentration of graphene, the graphene that we were using was quite large. They tended to align themselves, and they kind of created some sort of anisotropy. And what you see here is that this is the prediction of the modulus based on Hawkins sign, which assumes random distribution of the particles. This is based on the fully oriented, and these are the results that we got. As the graphene content increased, it started leaning towards more orientation. So this was another interesting observation about the graphene. So the large particles and higher content started to make sort of alignment much easier. Then we thought, okay, if core method is so interesting, why not we try with something which is more viscous? working with natural rubber. So what we did was that we dissolved natural rubber in toluene, and then again we added with the graphene-oxide in water and mixed them up, and we got this emulsion. And then again that frustration happened. Everything went well in the dispersion stage. So we had some rubber dissolved toluene that were covered with graphene-oxide, but once we wanted to produce the film that we wanted, we started drying, right? We needed to get rid of the bottom. So what happened, and we didn't know what happened, you actually need to look at this to realize the frustration. So we got something like this. Rubbery material, dark cover, and you can do nothing with it. And so we started thinking, okay, what's happening? And what was happening was that when we start heating up the mixture, first the toluene was the one that was going out of the droplets. So what we ended up was having graphene, rubber, and water all together. All totally phase separated and nothing to work with. So this took some time to figure out what's happening. But once we figured that out, then we realized, okay, so we need to do something to first get rid of water and then go for the toluene. So what we did was that we used microwave to get rid of water without much effect on toluene, and then we went for the evaporation of toluene. And during this stage, because of the heat, the graphene-oxide converted to graphene itself. So we had rubber with graphene dispersing it very well, and the properties were very interesting. This is 1.6% of graphene, and if you look at 200% or 400% foundation, you can see that the strength of that material was so much higher. After some time, and after trying a lot with the mechanical properties, we started asking ourselves that, okay, these were really interesting, but what are the applications and consumptions that really give high value added products from the polymers? And I guess the answer is clear. When you go to the electrical properties for medical application, you will get much higher value added products. So we started looking at self-aligning and about that few composites that work with, and we found out that the conductivity is really interesting. We then worked in polyamine and graphene-oxide and tried to look at different morphologies. Here, we were kind of trying to create different structure and try to find out what the properties will be. And in a recent paper, we kind of used polyamine hollow fibers and decorated it with graphene. So these are total change of mind, and so focusing on different properties, focusing on creating structures rather than observing what we get. And this is the word of wisdom that I want you to look at. If you don't mind, I'm going to read. This is from Savas Vinopoulos, a theoretical physicist, and I think he's from a Turkish background. They think that differentiate scientists is purely an artistic ability to discern what is a good idea a beautiful idea, what's worth spending time on, and most important, what is a problem that's sufficiently interesting, yet sufficiently difficult that it hasn't yet been solved, but the time for solving it has come now. One thing that I want to emphasize, and I can't emphasize more, is the component of time. We don't live in a three-dimensional world. We live in a four-dimensional, and one dimension is time, which is very, very important. That time is an important issue to think about the research and what you can do and what you should do. The other thing is that, well, he is very frustrated about the books that we read in physics. It says, jumping from failure to failure with undiminished enthusiasm is the big secret for success. This is, again, very hard to do and just say. And the last sentence is that why do humans do science? Why do they do art? The things that are least important for our survival are the very things that make us human. And with that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Any questions?
Oh, please. I said a lot.
Ask a question.
Yeah. Sure.
When you think about use graphene stuff, graphene, what do you first think about polymer? About polymer or other stuff?
Okay. I guess there's a good reason for it. It's not very reasonable, but good reason for me.
Good reason.
One of the reasons that I'm in the department of polymer engineering. So whatever research I do has to do something with the polymer. So if I want to do something else, people say, no, it's not here. You should go. So they, basically that's the reason. But you're right. I mean, it's not only polymer. Graphene is much wider scope and area of